Got an update on the Snow White box office expectations for this upcoming weekend, and they are in the toilet. One analyst predicts the film is going to be a massive flop. Roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. Sean Robbins at Box Office Theory shared his predictions, claiming the film will only gross $42 million in its opening weekend. That's down $200,000 from just 5 days ago and down $14 million from 5 weeks ago. He also predicted the film will gross a total of just $113 million at the domestic box office in total. Anthony D'Alessandro and Nancy Tartaglione at Deadline are a little more optimistic than Robbins, predicting the film will gross between $45 to $50 million domestically and add another $55 million internationally for a global gross around $100 million on opening weekend. Similarly, Rebecca Rubin at Variety predicts the film will gross between $45 and $50 million domestically and is estimated to have a, quote, global start above $100 million. This is an absolute disaster. These numbers are atrocious. So just to kind of show you how atrocious they are, we have to go back to what Caroline Reed at Forbes reported back in September 2023, where she shared that Disney had already spent $209.3 million on the film as of July 2022. A little over a year later, Reed reported that the budget had ballooned to $269.4 million, albeit she said Disney received a $55.5 million reimbursement, bringing its net spend to just $213.9 million. However, given the film still had to go through post-production, as well as rumors of other reshoots and fixes, it's rumored the budget bulged to over $500 million. That rumor came from Scooper WDW Pro. He says, "We know that this film had a budget that was somewhere around $300 million. They've overshot that significantly, according to my source, and this film is now heading towards The Force Awakens and The Rise of Palpatine. That's what I'm going to call it, kind of budget." We're nearing the $500 million mark, according to the source. That is what he said. I don't remember when he did this video, but he made this video probably about 6 months or so ago. So if that rumor is true, the film would need to make at least $1.25 billion in order to break even. $1.25 billion. It's not going to be doing that at $100 million opening weekend globally. No, it will not. It will not be doing that at all. So even if we look at the box office budget that Caroline Reed reported, at $213.9 million, the film would still need to gross at least $534.75 million in order to break even, and even that appears far out of reach because box office analyst OMB Reviews says that if the film only does $113 million and we see a typical domestic international split, this movie making it to $300 million worldwide would be a very difficult feat for it to be accomplished. So he's saying it might not even make it to $300 million, let alone $534.75 million, based on the last time we saw Caroline Reed share budget numbers for this film. OMB Reviews added, "It wouldn't surprise me to see the film do somewhere between $250 and $450 million. And he says, even at that higher end of $450 million, we're still dealing with a massive flop. Exactly, because it has to do around $534.75 million to break even. And $450 million, it's just not cutting it. So in the toilet, box office expectations, film likely going to lose tens of millions, if not over $100 million for the Walt Disney Company. And they have only to blame themselves. They chose to cast Rachel Zegler in this role. They chose to basically rewrite the entire film, change the story, push a feminist message, and people are not having it. They are not going to see this film, and they are certainly not taking their children to see this propaganda, at least not to the extent that the Walt Disney Company needs them to get a profit at the box office. So hopefully this stays true when this movie comes to Disney Plus and people do not watch this slop, this propaganda. This is not art. You cannot call this art because it is clearly trying to push a message that degrades people, leads them down paths of destruction. It is wrong, and it must be rejected. And it looks like people are indeed doing that. They are rejecting this film. They are not going to see it at the box office this weekend, and that is fantastic news. Well, let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.